Kremlin touts constructive meeting with U.S. Mogul Witkoff, sparking diplomatic speculation ***. In a development that has sent ripples of intrigue through international diplomatic and business circles. The Kremlin has confirmed that Russian President Vladimir Putin held a private meeting with prominent American real estate magnate and former top Trump administration official, Steven Witkoff. The official readout from Moscow, while brief, described the meeting as constructive, a term that has immediately fueled speculation about the nature of the talks and their potential implications for the deeply strained U.S. Russia relationship. The meeting, which was not publicly announced in advance, took place at the Kremlin, according to a spokesperson for the Russian presidency. The spokesperson offered few details, but emphasized that the dialogue was frank and beneficial to both sides. The lack of specific information has left analysts scrambling to understand the purpose of Witkoff's visit, a trip that comes at a time of heightened geopolitical tensions and widespread Western sanctions against Moscow. Steven Witkoff, a New York real estate developer with a reputation for brokering complex, high-stakes deals, has become a key figure in American foreign policy under the second administration of President Donald Trump. As the U.S. Special Envoy to the Middle East, a role he was appointed to in early 2025, Witkoff has been instrumental in delicate negotiations, including brokering a ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war and other diplomatic missions. His long-standing personal relationship with President Trump, dating back to their shared days in New York real estate, has given him a unique and often controversial channel for direct, informal diplomacy. The Kremlin's acknowledgement of his visit and the constructive label placed on the talks suggests that Witkoff may be acting as a de facto backchannel for a new round of unofficial and unsanctioned diplomatic overtures. For the Kremlin, the meeting is a significant propaganda and strategic victory. It sends a powerful message to the international community that despite years of concerted Western efforts to isolate Russia, powerful American figures, particularly those close to the White House, are still willing to engage with President Putin directly. This visible display of private diplomacy undermines the narrative of a united front against Moscow and gives the Kremlin leverage to suggest that the Western sanctions regime is not as solid as it appears. It presents a picture of a Russia that is not only weathering the storm of sanctions, but is also capable of attracting the attention and dialogue of influential American business leaders. The timing of the meeting is particularly noteworthy. It comes as Russia's economy, while resilient, continues to face significant pressure from Western sanctions. At the same time, the United States is grappling with its own domestic political divisions, a factor the Kremlin has historically sought to exploit. Witkoff's presence in Moscow provides the Kremlin with an opportunity to test the waters of a potential thaw in relations, a move that could capitalize on a deeply fractured political landscape in the U.S. and a perceived desire by some to find alternative paths to de-escalation. This is classic Kremlin signaling, explained Dr. Anya Petrova, a geopolitical analyst at the Moscow-based Russian Institute for Strategic Studies, in an interview. By meeting with a high-profile, non-traditional diplomat like Witkoff, Putin is communicating a number of things. First, he's showing his domestic audience that Russia is not isolated. Second, he is telling the West that he is open to dialogue, but on his own terms. And third, he is creating a direct line to the White House that bypasses traditional diplomatic channels, which he views as hostile and ineffective. In Washington, the news of the meeting has been met with a mix of silence and cautious concern. The U.S. State Department offered a terse response, stating that they were aware of the meeting but would not comment on the substance of private discussions. This carefully worded non-denial has done little to quell the political firestorm, particularly among critics of the Trump administration's approach to Russia. Opponents are likely to view Witkoff's visit as a dangerous freelancing of foreign policy, a move that could undermine established diplomatic efforts and weaken the sanctions regime. "The optics are terrible," said a former State Department official, speaking on background. It suggests that Russia can go around the formal institutions and deal directly with the president's inner circle. This is exactly what we have worked so hard to prevent since the last administration. It gives Putin a direct line and a strategic victory without him having to concede anything. Beyond the political theater, there are also tangible economic implications. Witkoff's primary business is real estate, and his presence in Moscow could hint at potential large-scale investment projects. While current sanctions make direct investment difficult, a deal could be structured through complex international arrangements that could challenge the existing sanctions framework. For Russia, securing a major foreign investment from a high-profile American business figure would be a monumental achievement, signaling a chink in the armor of Western financial pressure. The meeting also raises the possibility of a new channel for resolving other pressing issues, particularly the ongoing war in Ukraine. The script's prompt alludes to this. Witkoff's previous role in Middle East negotiations and his successful involvement in a prisoner swap earlier in the year suggest that he has a unique aptitude for a certain type of unconventional diplomacy. It is entirely plausible that Putin and Witkoff discuss the possibility of a new peace initiative for Ukraine, perhaps one that is not tied to the existing stalled negotiations. The full details of the meeting may never be revealed, but the Kremlin's public framing of the talks as constructive is a clear signal that this was not a casual encounter. It was a strategic move designed to be seen and interpreted on the world stage. Whether it leads to a new era of dialogue or simply serves as a moment of political theater remains to be seen. What is clear, however, is that this one private meeting between a Russian president and a powerful American businessman has injected a new element of unpredictability into the already complex and volatile world of U.S. Russia relations. The world watches closely to see if this constructive meeting is a harbinger of a new geopolitical reality or simply a fleeting diplomatic anomaly.